everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, hello, nice to meet you. I am Jess, or Ginger Jess, whatever you want to call me, just don't call me totally inappropriate. Hi. So I've not uploaded anything on this channel for years, and the person that was in the last upload is not the person I am now. I can hardly recognise her. So I thought this is a perfect opportunity to revive this channel in 2024. So much has fucking happened. I feel like we need a proper sit down update video where I can really get into the nitty gritty and give you all the goss and properly divulge. So I thought every single week we can have a little sit down chat video, and that is what this is today. So enjoy. I suppose the first thing we need to talk about is the fact that I have done a master's. Like, what the fuck? Hello? Academic queen here. In the beginning, 2 years ago, when I wanted to do it and I submitted the forms and everything, I was planning to go to Lincoln with my ex, and obviously that didn't happen because we broke up. So the plans changed quite drastically, kind of overnight, and I was like, oh shit, I'm now having to go to Lincoln completely on my own, which was never the plan. And also, what the fuck am I doing? When I first decided to do the masters, it was going to be more of an opportunity to go back to my roots in theatre and really figure out if I wanted to go down this lecturing path that I wanted to do since I was a kid, because I kind of started doing social media. That kind of took precedence. So then I started thinking maybe I should have gone back to lecturing and give that a go. And also, it's so much cheaper getting a place in Lincoln, so much cheaper. And I just saw this avenue of me and my partner at the time, getting a place together, building a life together, me getting a proper career. And then it all just crumbled down, and I was like, shit. Back to the drawing board. My master's went from this kind of I'm going to get a really good career out of this, to I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to have fun, which I just would not recommend getting yourself into thousands of pounds of debt just for you to do a master's just so you can fuck around. But that is just kind of what happened. It just happened that way. Also, I probably should say I've had a chest infection and tonsillitis, so if I sound extremely nasally and annoying, I'm sorry. I'm recovering. Once I started to do the masters, it was more of just let's take my mind off of the shit show that is becoming my life. I went from this 3-year relationship where I saw this person all the fucking time, spent all my time with this person, to then spending no time with anyone at all. I was completely on my own. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. So the masters was this perfect distraction for my head, because once you were finished one assignment, it was on to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next one, and you just didn't have time to think about your feelings, thoughts, opinions. It was just focused on this and yourself and getting to the day-to-day, and I loved that, and it was exactly what was needed for me at that time, and I just didn't realise it. It was extremely hard, don't get me wrong, I was living on my own, and I've never lived 100% on my own. But I think this might be the only time in my life that I'll be able to have this experience, and I loved and hated it simultaneously. It was the best and worst time of my life. The loneliness was so shit, but it was also the best thing ever. I loved being on my own in my little flat and just talking to myself and just thinking about myself. I didn't have to think about anyone else. I had no other responsibility other than myself, and if I fucked up, that was completely on me, and I was completely fine with that. I loved it, but it was also so lonely. Holy shit, I would come home all the time because I'd just be in my flat. There'd be days where I'd just be sitting in my flat oh my god, I've not said a single fucking word. And that's when I was like, oh, maybe the depression's hitting me a little bit. And then it just started to slowly not be great after a while, and it was hard getting myself out of it, because again, was with this person for 3 years, now I'm not with this person. I'm having to get myself out of these depressive episodes. I used to always have a support system. The support system isn't there anymore. I've got to figure this shit out on my own, and it was very euphoric and interesting, and I learned so much about myself, man. That 2023 was the year of really fucking hell, diving deep into who the fuck I am, I guess. Sorry I keep swearing. I just think I'm really excited to talk to you. I don't know when I'm graduating yet. Absolutely no fucking clue. Could be anytime. I'm thinking April. That's the rumour I'm hearing around the grapevine. Fingers crossed it is, because I love April time. It'll be really cutesy vibe. When I do graduate, I'm graduating with the exact grade that I graduated in my undergrad, which is very upsetting because it's both 69s, which means that I was one grade off of a first. That was a very humbling and sobering experience for me, because I was very much like, oh, what? Because I was getting the best grades I've ever got. Like, some of the assignments I was getting back, I was like, holy shit, I cannot believe I just got that grade. 10-year-old Jess, who was getting kicked out of fucking classes because she couldn't read and write and had to be, like, almost got put back behind. I was getting some mad grades. I saw what I was graduating with and I just laughed, because I was like, of course I'm going to get the exact same grade, and of course it's going to be 1 mark off of a first, because that is just the way that fucking life is sometimes. And you either laugh or you cry, and I'd rather fucking laugh. I do not have time in my life anymore to cry over stupid things like this. I sat there and was like, do you know what? I've come out of this experience with so much more than just this fucking grade, and that's what matters. Do I know what I want to do with my life? Absolutely fucking not. Do I want to become a lecturer? I have no idea. Do I want to do these things with these scripts? I have no clue. Is this going to, completely rejuvenate my CV? Absolutely not. But holy shit, I'm so grateful that I did it. I'm so grateful. Completely different person I am now. And I really like this person who I am now. So that's good. I'm completely and utterly lost. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, let alone like what's going to happen in the next 3 months or 3 years time. Like, I have no big major plans. I have resolutions, which we can get into. Should we get into resolutions? The goals for 2024 is to do way more on this YouTube channel, and fingers crossed I am going to do it and stick to that schedule, because I really love YouTube and I sit on YouTube all the fucking time and I'm like, why am I not making these? Why am I not expanding myself and doing a different avenue? And I think it's because I don't have that many followers on here. Before 2023, I was very much of the mindset of, well, if I've not got the numbers, then what's the point? And I had kind of become, I wouldn't say like a bad version of myself. I wasn't a bad version. There was just parts of me that was coming to the surface that I didn't like about myself. I was getting so into the views. I was getting so into the follows. If I lost 100 followers in one day, I would sit there and cry and say, like, oh my God, what is wrong with me? What have I done wrong? It's because I've gained weight. It's because I've gained 3 pounds. It's because I'm not as happy. I need to be happier. It's because I've not got new clothes. It's because I've not. And I just overthought every single thing. And I was equating the views to my self-worth. And once you do that, it is a tricky slope to get out of. It was something I wasn't expecting when I become an influencer, quote unquote, whatever you want to fucking call it. I always thought like, oh, I'd never be that person. I'd never let the views get to my head. I'd never allow myself to be consumed by this sort of lifestyle, because I'm grateful that I've even got 1,000 people watching me, let alone 100,000. But once you hit like a milestone, it's so easy to forget what the 1,000 views felt like and just focus on the 10,000 view buzz, and then the 100,000 view, and then the 500,000. And then once you hit 1 million, it's almost like, oh, I've only got 100,000 views. Shit. And that's insane. It's an insane thought to have. And again, I have a different outlook on this now, but back then that is totally what I thought. And I just had to kind of like humble myself and level myself and be like, holy shit, you know how crazy it is that even 100 people are watching your content? Like, who gives a shit? Who cares if you're not getting the same viewership as you used to? That is still 100 people taking time out of their fucking day to comment and talk to you and laugh at your content and to interact with you on a different level. I feel like I've really gone on a tangent. What was I talking about? Oh, goals for 2024? Oh yeah, I wanted to do more on YouTube. Jesus, what a tangent. I want to do yoga more. I love doing yoga. If you were an OG back in the day on my Instagram, you'd know all about my yoga mornings, and I am starting to implement it in my day-to-day routine. It is slowly but surely integrating. I really want to focus on reading books. I've literally just finished the Harry Potter series. That is done. I absolutely fucking loved them. They were so good. I laughed, I cried, and I'm going to be that person now and say that the books are better than the fucking films. And I never thought I'd be that person, but I am that person now, sorry. And now I'm on to the second book. So that's 2 in January. It's looking good so far. And yeah, just to try and go on more dates. That's another resolution I really want to do. That's another goal for 2024. I felt like in 2023 I dabbled a little bit, but I just kept going on these dates and seeing these men and being like, oh, actually, I'm really not healed. Like, they would just remind me of how much progress I actually need to like do before I even start thinking about dating. And recently I was like, oh, I might dip my toe again, and I did, and I was talking to these 2 guys and I was like, oh, I actually can't do this. Like, I don't think I can actually do this. I don't feel comfortable yet, and I need to feel comfortable. I was saying this to my mate Jasmine the other day. I was like, I need to feel really comfortable within myself before I go on a date with some stranger, because I will put him on a pedestal that he does not deserve to be on, okay? And what I mean by that is, if I'm feeling insecure and I'm feeling like, oh, I'm not feeling the best version of myself and I'm not liking who I am 100%, which is completely fine and normal. Everyone has moments like that. And at the moment, I'm in that kind of headspace, a little bit negative headspace. That's fine. I've acknowledged it. I know it's there. I can't go on a date with someone in that headspace, because as soon as I do, I will literally be like, he's so much better than me. Why is he even on a date with me? I can't even look at him in the eye, because like, he's so much better than me on every fucking level. And it's not true. The truth is, I'm just being really self-conscious right now, and I'm being really like self-deprecating, and I'm allowing him to be bigger and better than he is, and that's all on me. So I know I do that if I go on a date, because I've done it a million times. In the headspace I'm in at the moment, I just know it'd be a disaster. What's the point? So I'm kind of holding off, and I'm thinking by the end of January, there may be a date. Let's hope so. I'm so bored of this. It's been like 8 months. So it's too long. Meeting people from all ages has been so therapeutic. So I've recently got a part-time job at a theatre. I'm working in front of house, and I absolutely fucking love it. I'm getting to know all these different people. I've also made some really good friends, and we're going out way more, and I'm going out way more than I have ever gone out. It's been actually really fun. Just been trying to do new experiences and just like saying yes to things more rather than no. I felt like 2023 was very much like, I'm focusing on me and myself only, which is fine, but I now need to kind of be integrated with people and to chat to people more. I realised when I was doing social media just full time, like 100% before the masters, I was so lonely, because you don't have a boss, you don't have colleagues, there's no reason for you to get up. Like, all I had to do really was wake up and make a fucking TikTok and go back to sleep. That may work for some people. I was getting depressed. I loved making the content, don't get me wrong, it made my life. It was also extremely isolating. I felt so lonely. I'm such a bubbly people person that I found it difficult not to speak to multiple people on a day-to-day basis. When I came back from the masters after having the loneliest year of my life, I was like, I need to get out of the house more. And how am I going to do that? I was like, fuck it, part-time job. And honestly, it has been the best thing that's happened to me. Number one, I get to watch some really fucking cool shows. I've got a shift tonight, and I'm watching Six the Musical. Like, hello, that's insane. But that was what I was thinking of. So basically, the girls that I've become close with at work, they're a little bit older than me. They're like 30s, they're in their 30s, or they're just going into their 30s. In my masters, I was friends with a girl who was also in her 30s. And it's so wonderful talking to people who aren't the same age as you, because I feel like I tend to have a lot of friends who are my age. It's people from school that I've kept in close contact with, so they're exactly the same age as me. People from uni, so they're all the exact same age as me. We're all on different playing fields at the moment. Like my mate Rachel, she's like living in a house with her partner. My friend Faye's living in London with loads of girls, and I'm living in my parents. We're all in completely different parts of our lives, all the exact same sort of age, but all completely different. So when I'm comparing myself, I find it really hard, and you shouldn't do it anyway, but you know, come on, you're gonna compare yourself. Everyone does. We've got social media, like that's literally what you do. When I was talking to the 30-year-olds, they were telling me like, yeah, well, when I was 25, I was doing this and this. And then they were saying that so much happens in such a short amount of time from when you're 25 to 30. What you're worrying about now has absolutely no merit when it comes to your 30s, and you just become like a different person. And they've just given me so much hope for the future and so much to look forward to. And I'm like, oh my God, your life doesn't end when you're 25. And that sounds so fucking ridiculous, because people are going to be like, what do you mean you thought your life was over? But when I hit 25, like, the crow's feet are starting to happen. And I know, again, everyone's going to be like, you're 25, shut the fuck up. But you do really notice the difference between 21 to 25. Those 4 years, I've changed and aged so much. And I've realised that I am young. That 25 is young. It's not old. You're not an old, decrepit woman. This isn't the fucking 1800s. I don't need to be married off just yet. I'm actually completely fine. Everyone, as I said, is on a completely different journey. And just because mine looks different to yours and yours looks different to mine doesn't mean that I'm right, you're wrong. It just means we're on different playing fields. That's it. It's been well nice meeting like people who are different ages to you. Oh my God, I've quit vaping. So I was vaping for 2 and a bit years, maybe even a bit longer than that. I got addicted. I was with my family and my brother comes over to me, gives me one of these vapes. It was a Geek bar, so back in the day. And I chugged on it and I was like, that is amazing. It tastes like strawberries. It was insane. And I think I went through one that night, and I went to my ex and I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. We need to buy these. If one would run out, I would literally be like trying every single old disposable vape that I possibly could just to get one hit, just a little puff of something, because I knew that they were all out and I couldn't bother to go to the shops. And then I'd go to the shops, I'd spend £20+ on stupid pens that look like vibrators or USB drives hanging out my fucking mouth. I looked like an idiot and no one said anything. And I'm upset that no one said anything in my life. No one was like, Jess, you look like a fucking melt. I was so bad, I was so addicted that when I would go to the vape store to buy another disposable vape, the guy behind the counter, number one, knew my name. That is not good. Going to a pub or a vape shop and them knowing your name, that's never a good sign. And was like, babes, like, I've worked it out. You've spent 200 quid on disposable vapes. This is terrible. You need to buy an actual pod one. And he could have rinsed me the money. He didn't. Saved me so much money, but it got me so much more addicted to it. So I got an actual proper vape. It wasn't like a chuggy big one. It was like a little pen, like all the disposable ones, but I just refilled it. Better for the environment, and that's kind of what I told myself. I was like, it doesn't have the battery, I'm not killing the environment, like, good for you, but you're destroying your lungs. Like, what's better in this scenario? I don't think either of them are good. So like, don't pat yourself on the back too soon, Jess. Jesus Christ. I did think that because I had this vape, I was better than other people who had the disposable ones, and it's like, you're a fucking mug. I got a really bad chest infection. Oh my God, that's so crazy. Like 2 months ago. Maybe I'm just prone to being ill at the moment. It's really cold, to be fair. I was coughing so much that when I was vaping, it was like razor blades. It felt horrible. So I just didn't vape for like a week while I was recovering. And I was like, well, if I've not vaped for a week, maybe I could not vape for 2 weeks. And then it just kind of escalated. And now I've been vape free for 71 days. See how much money I've saved? That's insane. And then also, look at those stats. I'm sorry, 37,000 puffs that I haven't done. I look on the milliliters not vaped, and that's almost 300. That's almost a can of Coke. And the idea of a can of Coke full of oil that I probably consumed on a regular basis makes me feel a bit sick. Don't get me wrong, quitting was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I've got no nails. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see? That's really disgusting. I'm so sorry to anyone at home who has an issue with nails, but I actually have none. I have bitten them so badly that they've all bled. I have this like mouth fixation, which is part of the issue of like vaping and quitting smoking. And then I just gained so much weight, and it is because I've quit vaping. You know, vaping is a suppressant. Nicotine suppresses your appetite. I didn't realise quite how much it was suppressing my appetite. It also completely destroys your nostrils and your taste buds. I've can actually taste flavors again. I forgot what things taste like. All I could taste was like bubble gum or coconut because of my fucking vape flavors that I would have. That's all I could taste was like strawberry. Once I quit, I was like, oh my God, I can actually taste my food. And the issue with that is I then became like hyper fixated on it, and the feeling of eating was just so serotonin boosting is exactly what I needed. Now I'm like, okay, I now need to not have that as a vice, and I also need to sort out my nails. But I have to keep reminding myself, is it better having healthy lungs or gaining a few pounds? Gaining a few pounds is actually not a big issue at all. It has not disrupted my life that much. Yes, I'm a bit like, I would like to lose it. But, you know, I also don't want to lose a fucking lung. But yeah, I have quit vaping and I do feel like a better person. And I walk past people vaping now and I'm like, ugh. Because I get to do that now. I get to judge. And it feels good. Because I just love being a judgy bitch. Let me know if you want like tips on quitting vaping, by the way. I know like it's actually genuinely such a hard shift. Speaking on advice, I asked you guys over on Instagram if there was any advice that you wanted me to give you. Also, if you want to check out my Instagram, it's ginger.jessx. I have 70-ish thousand followers on there and I would absolutely love to get to 80k. So if you could go follow that would be absolutely amazing. And also, you may be in the next video if you want advice. It's all anonymous, don't worry, I'm not going to like bait anyone out. So number one, someone's asked, how do you combat loneliness? And I feel like the number one thing of combating loneliness is to figure out if you are alone or if you are lonely. If you're just alone, then you're just alone, and that's actually fine, and you can be on your own and it be okay. You can literally chill out and have fun and use this time to do something that you never would normally do. Talk to yourself, have fun, watch that movie that your ex-partner said, oh, I hate that movie. You can watch it all the fucking time now. Any weird habits that you have, you can do them. No one cares. Fart, I dare you. It's brilliant. Have a good time. Walk around naked. Be whoever the fuck you want to be. And that is the beauty of being on your own. So if you can see that and see it as a positive, then it's so much fun and so much better use of your time, to be honest. If you are just genuinely feeling lonely, I would just say reach out. Go outside and reach out to someone. Having fresh air is a game changer. When you're lonely and you're just stuck in your flat or in like a room, it is so much more like compressed and the walls feel like they're caving in on you. By being outside, it relaxes you so much and you actually get to talk to people, interact with people, the sun on your skin. It genuinely is such a cliche, but being outside is so good for you and your mental health. So if you need that, take that time, reach out to friends, have a little chinwag with someone for just even 10 minutes on a phone call, a FaceTime, a text, whatever you need to do. I feel like there's a massive difference between being lonely and being alone. Advice on talking to women. How I would like to be spoken to is like a human being. No sexy talk. I'm sick of matching with men on dating apps and it going to sexy talk way too soon. Like, okay, I get it. I know we're on dating apps and that is like maybe an inevitability. Like maybe we go on a date and we end up shagging. But do we need to be talking about blowjobs on day 3 of us talking to each other? I don't think so. I don't think you need to be asking me what my favourite position is after matching with you for 10 minutes. I think that's low-key inappropriate and really turns me off you. There was one guy recently that I was talking to and he got way too sexual way too quickly, and it's such a shame because he like ticks every single one of my boxes. But it's just such a red flag because I think, well, you're obviously just using me for sex, which is fine. I actually don't care. Not that I don't care you're using me for sex, but, you know, if we want to use each other for sex, and that's something that we can do as consenting adults, but don't start, oh, I want to take you on a date, I think you're a different girl, and then start treating me sexually before you've even met me. It just feels really weird. I feel like an object before you've even got to know me as a person. And also, how can you start talking that sexual to someone that you don't even know? You've literally matched with me for 10 minutes. Weird fucking behaviour. I'm sick of it. I'd also say just like be banterous. Like I'm so sick of like a serious conversation. What are you doing on this app? what kind of goals are you looking for? What makes you a driven person? Like, I don't want to know that. I want to know what your favourite Nintendo DS game was. I want to know if you were a dinosaur kid when you was younger. I want to know what supermarket you prefer and why you also have such a strong opinion on the worst supermarket. I don't want to know how big your dick is. And I also don't want to know serious things. I just feel like dating should be fun. And I think that's another thing when you're talking to a woman. I just think it should be fun. And if it's not fun, that person is not right for you. You move on. We're on to the next one, because dating should be a right laugh. And if it's not, she ain't the one. He ain't the one. On to the next thing. There's so much pressure all the time for you to be in a relationship for some reason, especially once you turn in your 20s. It's like, why haven't you got a boyfriend? What's wrong with you? Why do you not want to move in with someone? Why do you not want to start that next chapter? And it's like, babes, it's too much. Right, I feel like I've chinwagged your fucking ear off. I feel like I've spoken a lot, to the point where my head's actually starting to hurt. It was very nice speaking to you. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, it would mean the world if you could give this a thumbs up, a comment, a share, a like, a whatever, a subscribe, a ringing the bell, all that jazz. As I said, I'm gonna really try and make the most of this channel and try my creativity and give it a good little go. So I hope you really enjoyed it. And I love you very much. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.